Most GPS watches try to do everything and end up overwhelming you. The Suunto Race, or Race S, doesn't. It's clean, it's focused, and honestly it's one of the most comfortable GPS watches I've ever worn, but it's not perfect. Last January I bought the Race S, and the original idea was that I use it as my daily watch. For my training I use the Garmin Enduro too. However, I fell in love with the design and comfort of the Race S. As a result, the Enduro 2 spent much more time in the dryer. Unfortunately, the Race S died after a week, and it was an opportunity to upgrade and get the Race. For me, the sapphire glass is a must because I'm a bit clumsy, and on the trails usually I tend to hit it with rocks, and I ended up ditching the Enduro 2 completely. In this video, I'll walk you through the things that I love and the things that really need improvement in the Suunto Race after spending almost 6 months of running, training and daily living with it. Before I dive into the details, please note that I bought the watch from my own money and the views in this video are completely my own. Let's start with the obvious, the design. It just looks good. The build quality feels solid, yet the watch it is surprisingly light. On my wrist, it never felt bulky, whether when I am running, daily task or even sleeping with it. The 1.43-inch screen display gives you that big display experience, like the 47mm or 51mm new Phoenix 8 models without the chunk. Comfort-wise, I think it's one of the few watches I actually enjoy sleeping with, and one of the few watches that does not destroy my wrist when I'm wearing a motorcycle jacket in winter. The software, Suunto software, I believe both on the watch and the app itself are refreshingly clean. It doesn't shove all the details into your face and it doesn't put that much pressure for you to be in perfect form and that you have to follow all the training readiness or whatnot. I believe that in that case, Whoop is the worst from that regard, especially if you are obsessed with data, because it's all the time telling you what to do and what not to do to be in the best perfect form and recovery. However, it has all the data that one needs. You can customize data screens on the watch, navigation, heart rate zones in different sport modes. There are kind of settings for each sport mode, such as display, music controls, etc., which are sport specific, and then you can toggle them on and off depending on the watch itself. You can install maps. They doesn't come with pre-installed maps. However, you can install any maps around the world. It's done over Wi-Fi, so it shouldn't be a problem. It's just they're a bit chunky and it takes time to install. Then there are the downsides. One of the biggest downsides I find in this watch is that you cannot edit the default sports profile. So if you want to add a data field, you have to create a custom sport profile, so then you add those data fields per se. So you might end up with double, triple sports profiles for the same thing, which I don't know why they cannot open up the default sport profiles like Garmin does, so you can add or change anything in those sport profiles. The widgets, while they are nice, intuitive, they are pretty limited and you cannot interact much with them. So even though, for example, you can see the heart rate, you cannot scroll through the day and know exactly what was the beating, at least from the watch. From the mobile app, it's a different story. There is no gear tracking on the watch, so if you rotate shoes, you are out of luck. You need to use either Strava or any other apps to keep track of your gear. When it comes to performance, the GPS on this watch is very good. It locks extremely quickly and stays accurate even in tricky areas like cities. Battery life is a standout, especially in the sport mode. So when you have the GPS, for example, GPS on time, It is, I think, way better than most in the price range. In fact, it gives like 50 hours of GPS on time, which I believe is very good for an AMOLED screen. You also get access to a lot of sports profile, trail running, hiking, swimming, strength, you name it, I think it is there. As I said, one minor issue, they are the maps. They are huge to transfer. They have no street names, I think, so I don't know why it takes that much and why they are so huge in their size. Then you have the Suunto guides, which there's a limitation that you can only add 2 Suunto guides at a time. Now I'm going to talk about the heart rate and sensors. Here's where things get a bit frustrating, to be honest. You can only connect one external heart rate monitor at a time. So if you have, for example, a chest strap and an armband, you cannot pair them both at the same time. You have pairing them each time. It doesn't show the battery level of your heart rate monitor either. So if the heart rate monitor does not have something that shows whether it's a high battery or low battery, you're not gonna know from the watch itself. The optical heart rate sensor is fine for everyday use, but during workouts I wouldn't trust it. I tend to wear either the Coros armband, the Polar Vertisense, or sometimes the chest strap as well. And even the Suunto Smart app, sometimes when I'm doing open water swimming, I find it a bit a hit or miss. I'm not sure whether it's the issue with the watch or actually the issue with the band, or kind of both. If you are that type of runner that you've set a pace or heart rate zone, the watch won't actually alert when you are above or below it. Garmin does, if you're wearing headphones, it gives you audio alerts telling you that you are above zone or below zone, or even the watch will beep. In this case, there's an arrow, it shows, but it's not gonna beep neither if you are above or below. Most running watches, they have it. Coros has it, Garmin has it as well, and they just get it right. Sleep tracking is okay. Sometimes I find that it misjudges my either sleeping time or more my actually waking time. And there's no way to manually edit it. So once it records the wake up and sleep time, there is no way that you can edit it. So if it's off, it's off. Garmin lets you edit it, however, it does not change the data, so only Whoop in that case, that once you edit the wake up time or sleep time manually, it will reevaluate all the data and it will update the data accordingly. So kudos to Whoop for that. Also, there is no offline music playback, which for me is a bit of a deal breaker. I am used to having Spotify on the Garmin Enduro too. However, now with the Shocks open water, I can store music in that one and I use it as an MP3. Or in most cases, if I'm running trail, I have my phone with me. So let's talk about the price. I think at around 500 euro, the price for the Suunto Race, I think now it's actually cheaper. I think it is very, very good, especially when you compare it to the top tier Garmin watches, which go over 700 euro nowadays. I think for its weight, I think for the features that it has, it is worth. Yes, it's not feature rich like a Garmin watch. There are some like Climb Pro in the Garmin watches that is done better. Music, watch payments, flashlight, those I think they are above Garmin. However, when you consider the GPS performance and comfort, I think this watch is very, very good. It's not the most feature-packed watch out there, but if you want a focused, reliable GPS watch with quite good battery, to be honest, and a clean user experience, I think it's hard to beat. If you're like me, that now I started enjoying watches which are not over complicated and they just track what you need to track, this one might just fit your wrist and your mindset. If you want to compare all features, I suggest that you visit DC Rainmaker, which I think he's the best when it comes to very detailed comparisons and write-ups about watches, etc. You will find all the in-depth information and whatnot in his reviews. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this watch. I will be honest with you, so if something which I like or don't like or doesn't work well, I will let you know, of course, according to my experience. And if you like this one, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more running reviews in the future. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.